Hello everybody and welcome to the Parsha Puppet Show. This week's Parsha is Parsha's Bahaalosecha. Chani, what on earth are you doing?
I'm trying to raise up the candles, just like you said. It's not lighting. My candlestick is not lighting.
Chani, you're very funny. Why are you picking up your candlestick? Candlesticks light with a match. Candlesticks don't light by picking them up.
Well, how come you just said that Hashem told Aaron, Bahaalosecha saneres, when you lift up the candles?
That is a very good question. Well, the literal translation, that means the exact translation of the words Bahaalosecha, comes from the word ale, to go up, that Aaron should make the fire go up, and basically that means to light the fire.
But doesn't the Torah use every word exactly? What can we learn from that it says that you should raise up the candles?
You're such a smart puppet. You're right, Chani. Every single thing in the Torah is exact. And yes, we can learn a lesson from the name of this week's Parsha, that Hashem is telling Aaron, when you light the menorah, you shouldn't just go and touch the flame and walk away. You have to wait until the flame is able to rise up by itself. This is the explanation that Rashi gives. We can learn a very special lesson when we in our life see a fellow Jew in need of help. They need to learn Torah, they need to learn about Judaism, about Yiddishkeit, and you want to help them. Don't just help them once and walk away. Help them until they become able to stand on their own and to inspire themselves and others.
Oh, that's such a beautiful lesson, Rabbi.
Yes, it is. Hey, Chaim, what are you looking at over there?
Oh, I'm just looking to see if I got a part in the school production, the school play.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's see.
Okay. Stage setup. No, not me. Let me see. Actor 1. No, actor 2. Actor 3, 4, 5. Oh no. Rabbi Wagshul, I'm so disappointed. They didn't even give me any part at all.
No part? Chaim, wow, that's so disappointing. Are you sure they didn't give you any part? There's nothing left for you?
Let me look again. Wait! Whoa! I don't believe it!
What? What's the matter, Chaim?
I didn't think to look at the starring role. I'm gonna be the star in the play. I couldn't believe it. I'm the star. Wow, I didn't think they would do that to make me the star actor.
Well, Chaim, you're a pretty good actor in our puppet shows. I'm very proud of you. You must have worked very hard by the auditions.
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing.
You know, Chaim, you reminded me of something in the Parsha.
I always something in the Parsha. What does getting a part in the play have to do with the Parsha?
Well, let me tell you about it, Chaim. You see, Aaron HaKohen was very disappointed, according to Rashi.
Why?
Well, because Aaron saw what we learned last week, that the Nesiim, that the leaders of all of the Shvatim, brought so many karbanes to dedicate the new Mizbeach. And Aaron said, I was not part of it at all. I was not, me and my Shevet, we did not bring any karbanes, because it was only the Nesiim of the other 12 Shvatim, not Shevet Levi.
Oh, so Aaron felt like me. He felt left out, that he didn't have a part.
That's right, Chaim.
So, did he get a starring role?
Yes, Hashem tells Moshe, tell Aaron, don't worry, Bahaalosecha saneres. Your job is going to be greater than their job. Your job is going to be the main actor in the Mishkan and the Beis HaMikdash. You, the Kohen Gadol, are going to light a beautiful golden menorah, and you are going to every day light this special menorah.
Wow, what a beautiful menorah.
That's right. This menorah was made out of a solid block of gold, pure gold. And Moshe Rabbeinu, according to the Medrash, couldn't even figure out how to make such a intricate, delicate design with so many knobs and cups and flowers out of a big block of gold. So Hashem just told him, throw it in the fire, and Hashem made this menorah himself. So now you understand why Aaron HaKohen was consoled and comforted by the fact that he got to light the special menorah and dedicate Hashem's holy Mishkan.
I had a little dreidel, I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, a dreidel I shall play. Oh, hi Rabbi Wagshel, do you want to play dreidel with me?
Do I want to play dreidel with you, Chaim? Dreidel in the middle of the summertime. Parshas Bahaalosecha, what are you thinking?
Wow, I can teach you something.
Yes, please do.
Well, in my class, my Rebbe told us that Parshas Bahaalosecha has to do with Chanukah.
With Chanukah? How do you figure that, Chaim?
Well, you see, in the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he explains that the Torah must be giving us a secret message.
A secret message? About what?
About a holiday that would occur after the dedication of the Mizbeach.
Right, because last week's Parsha we learned how the Nesiim, the leaders of each Shevet, brought karbanos to dedicate the Mizbeach. Oh, you mean the holiday of Chanukah?
That's right, a holiday where the Greeks destroyed the Mizbeach and they had to rededicate it, and it's called Chanukah for Chanukah HaMizbeach. And at that time, they also had the miracle with the menorah. So that's why the menorah comes after the story of the dedication of the Mizbeach, to tell us a secret message that in the future there will be a holiday of Chanukah when we will dedicate the menorah and the Mizbeach.
Wow, that is amazing. Hey, Chani, where are you going?
I'm on my way to go daven.
You're on your way to go daven? Oh, you look sad. Maybe you're going to go daven for something?
No, just that I don't really like davening so much.
You don't like davening so much? Why not? It's so much fun singing songs to Hashem and talking to Hashem.
I know, but sometimes I get bored. It's the same songs and the same words every single day. How am I supposed to have kavanah if I'm saying the same things every day? Shouldn't davening be different every day?
That is a great question, Chani. Wow. I think I can answer you from the Parsha.
Always from the Parsha.
That's right. Torah is Milashon Ha'ira'ah. Torah is from the same wording as teaching, as lesson. The Torah teaches us how to live our life. Do you want to know how to be inspired in your davening from the Torah this week?
Yes, please tell me, Rabbi Wagshel.
Okay, so I'll tell you. In this week's Parsha, after Hashem tells Moshe to command Aaron to do all the special work to light the menorah, Hashem, the Torah records, Vayas Kain Aaron, and Aaron did so.
Okay, wait, isn't that obvious that Aaron would do what he's told?
That's right. Why does the Torah have to tell us that? And Rashi explains, because the Torah wants to give us a special message. Milamed shaloi shina, that teaches you that Aaron did not change his way of doing anything. Well, a beautiful explanation brought down by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Melamed shaloi shina comes to teach you, of course, Aaron didn't change what he was supposed to do. It comes to teach you that Aaron came to light the menorah every day without changing his attitude. The first day he did it, and the 100th day, and the 1000th day, however many days Aaron kept on lighting the menorah his whole life. He did it every time with the same enthusiasm that he is doing Hashem's special mitzvah.
Oh, so when I daven, I'm talking to Hashem, and I should every time not think of it like I'm singing words. I should think that I'm talking to Hashem and I'm having the opportunity again to talk to Hashem every single day. What a special thing.
That's right, Chani.
Okay, I'm going to daven. Yay! get a haircut. I don't want to get a haircut.
Poor guy. Chaim, what's the matter? You look like you're not so eager to go into the barber shop.
I don't want to get a haircut. How come I have to have a haircut every 6 months?
Every 6 months? Oy vey, that's a very long time. Chaim, your puppet hair is getting a little long. I guess your parents want you to have a haircut, so you look nice and neat and clean, like a yeshiva bacher.
But I don't like haircuts. That gets me all icky.
You know, Chaim, you should be proud. You should feel like a soldier in the army of Hashem.
A soldier in the army of Hashem?
Hey, young man! Attention!
What? Oh, hello, Sergeant. What are you doing over there?
Wow, a sergeant. Nice haircut, Sergeant. Soldier, a soldier in the army of God has to look sharp, and you have to have a very nice, clean haircut, just like the tribe of Levi.
At the tribe of Levi? Shevet Levi?
Oh, Chaim, I'll tell you what the sergeant is talking about. Thank you, Sergeant. Actually, in the Torah this week, the Torah tells us how Hashem commanded Moshe Rabbeinu to make a special ceremony to take the Leviim to start their work.
Oh, what did they do?
Well, first of all, Hashem told Moshe, take the Leviim, kachas ha-Leviim, and our rabbis tell us that first he gave them a pep talk. He spoke to them about their great zechus, their great merit that they have to be Hashem's special soldiers.
Oh, okay.
And then each of the Leviim was sprinkled with a special water that the ashes of the Parah Aduma, the red cow, was mixed in to make them pure.
Oh.
And then they got a haircut.
What? A haircut? Oh no, no haircuts.
Yes, and not just any haircut. The entire body, their whole body was shaved off of any hair whatsoever, any visible hair.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Like even their eyebrows?
I think so, Chaim. I think even their eyebrows.
Whoa, maybe my haircut is not so bad.
No, I don't think so. And then they would bring a young bull as an oila.
Why a bull?
Well, to remember the sin of the Egel HaZahav that the Leviim did not take any part of. In fact, they punished those who worshipped the Egel HaZahav. And then they would bring another bull as a chatas, as a sin offering, also for the Chet Egel. And the Leviim were brought to the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting where Hashem would speak to Moshe. And then there were some special representatives from Bnei Yisrael that would place their hands on the Leviim. Aaron would wave them like hi. No. Aaron would pick them up.
Wow! Put me down, Abiwaxel, put me down!
And wave them all around.
Whoa!
Yep. Aaron was very, very strong, or Hashem gave him strength by a miracle, and he waved the Leviim all around, and then the Leviim would rest their hands on those bulls for the karbanes, and Aaron did the same thing to the families Kahas, Gershon, and Merari. And Hashem says, I chose the Leviim instead of the firstborn.
I know the story, because Hashem saved the firstborn in Mitzrayim, so the firstborn belonged to him, and they're holy.
That's right, Chaim. Do you know why the firstborn were not able to serve in the Mishkan?
Because they participated in the Egel HaZahav.
You're paying such good attention to your Parsha lessons, Chaim. And the Leviim will be given over to serve the Kohanim, to sing, and to make sure people that were not authorized do not come into the Mishkan. Torah tells us that a Levi could only do his job from the age of 20 until 50.
What?
Yes. After 50 years old, a Levi was able to continue helping with the guarding and taking apart the Mishkan, but they wouldn't do the heavy lifting like the younger Leviim.
Oh wow, thank you for telling me that. I learned something new this week. Mommy! Oh yes, Sarala, welcome home. Mommy, I learned Parsha in school this week. Can I tell you about it? Sure, Sarala, tell me, what did you learn? I learned about Pesach. Moshe Rabbeinu told the Yidden to make Pesach in the second year that they were in the desert. Pesach! Mommy, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Don't say the Pesach word. I just recovered from cleaning the house from last Pesach. Your siblings make such a mess. It's very difficult.
Oh, whoa. Mrs. Goldstein, don't worry. It's okay. Your daughter Sarah was not telling you that it's going to be Pesach right now.
Oh, she's not?
No. You still have quite a few months to get ready for Pesach.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
So the Torah tells us that on the 14th day of Nisan, the Yidden were commanded to make their second Pesach. Their first Pesach was in Mitzrayim, and the second Pesach they should make in the desert. This was in the second year when the Yidden left Mitzrayim, and the Yidden were told to do all the halachas of the Karban Pesach, that it should be eaten in a group, that they should not break a bone, it should not be left over until morning. And the Torah tells us that this is what the Bnei Yisrael did in the desert. And even if Pesach would fall out on Shabbos, or if a Yid would be, of most of the Jewish nation would be Tameh, we would still bring the Pesach on the 14th of Nisan.
Oh, that's what I learned in school. Okay, bye, Sarah. Mommy, where are you going? Sarah, your father and I are going to a shir. But I want to come. No, Sarah, it's only for adults. And it's late. It's your bedtime. Go to sleep. Mwah. Bye-bye. See you in the morning. It's not fair. How come I'm always left out?
How come you're always left out, Sarah? Why, I've heard that in the Parsha before.
What? In the Parsha? There's a girl that got left out that couldn't go to the shir with her mommy at night?
No, not exactly. But there were some people that came to Moshe Rabbeinu and they were very disappointed about being left out of the mitzvah of Karban Pesach.
What? What happened?
Well, it seems that there were a group of Yidden that were tameh, they were impure on the 14th day of Nisan when they had to bring the Karban Pesach.
Why were they impure?
Well, according to some opinions, these were the Yidden that carried the bones of Yosef through the desert, and therefore they were impure because they were carrying bones, and they could not bring the Karban Pesach.
Oh, so what did they do?
They came to Moshe and they said, Moshe Rabbeinu, lama nigara, why are we left out? We want to bring the Karban Pesach.
Yeah, why are we left out? I want to go also with my parents.
Well, just like you want to go do a mitzvah and listen to the shir, they wanted to go do a mitzvah and bring the Karban Pesach.
So did Hashem let?
Well, it was really special. Moshe Rabbeinu told them, stay and wait until you'll hear what Hashem is going to tell you. And Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu that these people should know, and for all generations, anybody who misses the Karban Pesach because they're impure or they're too far away to get there in time to the Beis HaMikdash by the 14th of Nisan, they could keep it at the next month on the 14th of Iyar, 1 month later, and they should eat it with matzah and maror, just like the regular Karban Pesach. Don't leave anything over until morning. Don't break any bones. The same exact laws. A ger, a convert, will also have the same law and bringing the Karban Pesach. It is actually a good thing what they did, that they showed such a love for the mitzvah that they begged Moshe Rabbeinu to be able to do it.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and because of that, when a Yid really wants to serve Hashem, and he says, why should I be left out? Yes, I made a mistake, but now I want to come close to Hashem. Hashem will, there's nothing too late. It's never too late. Hashem will let a person do tshuva and have another chance. Wow, and tshuva is very powerful. Tshuva could even change what is in the past. Did you know that?
Really?
And Pesach Sheni and Pesach remind us of the two different ways to serve Hashem. Pesach reminds us the normal way to serve Hashem. You serve Hashem by getting rid of chametz, by getting rid of averes, and doing mitzvahs, and that takes time. The Yom Tov of Pesach lasts 7 days. But then there's Pesach Sheni, which represents someone who feels so bad that they missed out, they do teshuvah, and that could take 1 second. Pesach Sheni is only 1 day. In 1 day, a Yid could just turn around and do teshuvah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hey Chaim, where are you going?
Oh, I'm going to school. Bye-bye, Rabbi Wagshel.
Wait a minute, Chaim. You don't look like you're going to school.
Why not?
Well, don't you usually have a backpack for your books when you go to school?
Oh, it's the end of the year. I don't want to schlep my backpack with all my books, and then I have to unpack it and pack it.
Chaim, but don't you have to be prepared for class?
It's only the end of the year.
Chaim, you should take a lesson from the Parsha.
Again, a lesson from the Parsha about bringing my backpack to school?
Well, yes, Chaim. Actually, there is a lesson from the Parsha about that.
Yeah, how? I want to hear it.
Well, in this week's Parsha, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu that when the cloud would rest over the Mishkan, they would camp in that spot. And during the nighttime, an appearance of a fire would rest on the Mishkan.
Oh yeah, I learned about this.
And the cloud would lift up and go in front, and on top of the first camp that would travel, that was a sign that the Bnei Yisrael should move on.
Oh, okay. So, what does it have to do with my backpack?
Well, the Torah tells us that sometimes the Bnei Yisrael would camp in a place for 1 night.
1 night? What, they would have to put the whole Mishkan up for 1 night?
Yes. They put the whole Mishkan, and then in the morning have to take the whole thing apart and pack it up again in all the wagons.
Wow! Oh my gosh, that's a lot of effort. Why?
Well, this was Hashem's honor, Hashem's command, that every place they should have a very special camp. Chaim, we could also learn a lesson from this besides the fact that you should go to school every day and give it your best with your backpack and prepared for learning.
Okay.
The other lesson is that we who are waiting for Mashiach to come any day, we shouldn't just say, all right, Mashiach is coming any day, so we'll relax and we'll wait for Mashiach to take care of things, and we won't work hard to go and build schools and to build shuls and to do so many important things that Jewish communities do, because Mashiach is coming very soon. Why should we waste our efforts? No. We're just like the Yidden camped, and they made a beautiful camp by the word of Hashem. It's a mitzvah. So too, wherever we camp, even if we know that Hashem promised us that Mashiach is coming soon, and we might have to leave the next day, we should make our camp as beautiful and a big Kiddush Hashem as possible.
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful lesson. Okay, I'm going to get my backpack now.
All right, Chaim. Rabbi Parsha, what is that noise that you're making?
You mean my whistling?
Yes, what are you doing?
I'm trying to make special chatzotz signals, just like in the Parsha. Here, listen.
Wow, Rabbi Parsha, that's amazing. You have very good whistling skills. But what does whistling have to do with the Parsha?
Well, in this week's Parsha, don't you know that Hashem told Moshe to make 2 silver chatzotz, 2 silver trumpets.
2 silver trumpets? Really?
Yes, they were beaten out of 1 piece of silver, and the Kohanim would blow them at the command of Moshe, and there was a special signal that they would blow.
Special signal? Tell us about it.
Well, when they wanted to get all the Yidden to come together, the Kohanim would blow 1 long blast on both trumpets together. And when they wanted only the leaders of the Bnei Yisrael, they would only blow 1 trumpet for a long blast. And then, when they wanted the Yidden to start traveling,
they would blow shorter blasts, a tekiah, a trua, and a tekiah. Toot, 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 toot. Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Wow, like a shofar that we blow on Rosh Hashanah. Well, maybe a little bit. When they would blow it the first time, the Shvatim that was camping in the east would travel. And the second time, the Shvatim camping in the south would travel. Wow, that's very interesting. So the trumpets were like the signal. So you had the cloud, it was one signal, and the trumpets were another signal. Oh yeah, and also, don't forget that Moshe Rabbeinu would say, Kuma Hashem, arise Hashem. So that was a third signal to travel by, the Torah says, Al Pi Hashem biyad Moshe, by the word of Hashem, with the clouds, and the hand of Moshe, that Moshe Rabbeinu would also tell them to start going. Oh, very interesting. That's so cool. But the Torah also tells us that we have to blow the Chatzos on other 2 times as well. When is that? Well, when we go to war, when we're living in Eretz Yisrael, and we go to war with our enemies, we should blow the Chatzos, so Hashem remembers us and saves us from our enemies. And the soldiers will be remembered to do teshuvah and be humble in their battle. And also on B'yom Simchaschem Uvemoyadechem Uverashei Chodshechem, on the Yomim Tovim and Rosh Chodesh, they would blow on the trumpets in the Beis Hamikdash. Interesting. What would be the connection of blowing on trumpets by a wartime and by a happy time? You want to hear a word about that? Yes, I do. Well, when we blow in a wartime, it reminds us to be humble and fight our Yetzer Hara. But what happens when we're in a happy time and we beat the Yetzer Hara? Well, don't become less humble. At those times, you have to be extra humble and blow the blasts on the Chatzos to remember to be humble to Hashem, so that you don't get too proud and your Yetzer Hara doesn't trick you. Oh, that's a very good word. Thank you, Rabbi Parsha. Rabbi Parsha, what are you doing looking in the sky?
I'm looking for the clouds, the signal.
The cloud signal? I don't see any cloud signal.
Well, on the 20th day of the second year, in the second month of Iyar, the clouds finally got up and started to travel.
Wow,
they traveled in the Paran desert. Bnei Yisrael traveled in their special formation. First, the tribe of Yehuda, the camp of Yehuda, with Yisachar and Zvulun went. Then the Mishkan carriers, Gershon and Merari went.
Wait a second. What happened to Kahas?
Kahas did not go yet. First, the camp of Reuven, Shimon, and Gad went, and then Kahas went with the Aaron and the Kalim.
Why? Why didn't Kahas go with the rest of the Leviim?
Because when the Leviim would go ahead, they would set up the Mishkan, and by the time Kahas would get there, the Mishkan was set up so they could bring the Kalim, the Aaron, and the Shulchan, and the menorah right inside.
Oh wow, that was definitely much more honorable than putting them on the floor and waiting for the Mishkan to be set up, right?
That's right. Then Ephraim and Menashe and Benjamin, followed by Dan. The Torah calls him the Ma'asef, the collector of all the camps. Dan with Asher and Naphtali.
Why were they called the collectors?
Because when they would go in the desert, since they were in the back, they would find all of the lost objects that all of the Bnei Yisrael lost, and they would do the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, returning a lost object.
How would they do that?
Well, they would gather the objects, and when they would come to camp, Yidden would come to the camp of Dan if they lost something, and the people of Dan would have a way to give it to them back.
Wow, that is amazing. When the Yidden left Har Sinai, finally, in the second year, Moshe Rabbeinu turned to his father-in-law Reuel, otherwise known as Yisroi, and told him, "We are going to the land that Hashem has promised. Come with us." But Yisroi said, "No, I am going to the land, to my people." Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, you were an eyewitness to all the miracles that Hashem has done for us. Come with us, and you will be blessed with use of part of the land when we receive the gift from Hashem. The Torah doesn't tell us anything else about it, but we do find later in Tanakh the descendants of Yisrael eventually came to Eretz Yisrael. Wow, are there any more details about how the Yidden traveled? Well, the Parsha says that the Aron would go a 3-day journey ahead of Bnei Yisrael. Wait a second. The Aron would go a 3-day journey ahead of Bnei Yisrael, but I thought the Aron was with the Bnei Kahas, and the Aron was in the middle of the camp, traveling and waiting for everyone else ahead to go, so they could come later. No, this was a special Aron. There were 2 Arons. Yes. Moshe Rabbeinu was told by Hashem to make an extra Aron, and inside was put the broken luchos. This Aron was used when the Yidden went to war against their enemies. This Aron would go ahead of the Yidden, so it would find a place to camp. And so when the Aron would set out, Moshe Rabbeinu would say a special tefillah. Hey, we say that in Shul. That's right. These days, when we open the Aron Kodesh, we say this tefillah. That's right. Vayehi bin Saya ha'aron. That means when the Aron would travel, Vayomer Moshe. Moshe would say, Koma Hashem, arise Hashem, ve'afutzu ayevecha. Let your enemies be scattered. Ve'anoso misanecha mipanecha. And those who hate you should run away from you. Wow. So, isn't that interesting? So these words come from our Parsha. Yep. That is amazing. Thank you, Rabbi Parsha. And Rabbi Parsha, could you tell us, did Moshe have any special tefillos when the Aron came to rest? Yes. He would say, Shuva Hashem, Rivavos Alfei Yisrael. Rest Hashem amongst the many myriads of thousands of Bnei Yisrael. So Rabbi Parsha, why do we say this tefillah when we take out the Torah? Well, we take out the Torah as a very heilig time. It gives a Yid a koyach to go with the strength of the Torah and learn Torah and do mitzvahs and chase away his Yetzer Hara. And then Moshe Rabbeinu says his neshama that's inside every single Yid that has a piece of Moshe Rabbeinu in him to inspire him to serve Hashem wakes up and says, Arise Hashem, a Yid should do mitzvahs and get up. And then the enemies, the Yetzer Hara, should run away from us. And also, did you know that when the Torah is taken out, it's a good time to daven for Hashem to help us to have enough parnasa, enough money and food that we need, because with the Aron was the man, was the food that Hashem gave the Yidden. A special jar of man was put there to remember the miracle, how Hashem took care of the Yidden. Wow, that is so amazing, Rabbi Parsha.
Mommy, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Oh, Chani, it looks like you're having a little bit trouble driving on a long road trip.
I can't stand driving in the car for long trips. I just have to say, are we there yet? No, honey, we're not there yet. When are we gonna be there yet?
Oy vey, you remind me of the Yidden in the Parsha.
What? What happened in the Parsha? Did they go on a road trip?
Well, yeah, actually they did. They left Har Sinai and they started traveling a 3-day trip towards Eretz Yisrael.
A 3-day road trip?
Well, this was a very special road trip. Hashem made it take only 1 day for them to travel a 3-day distance. But still, there were some of the Erev Rav, the mixed group of Egyptians that came with the Yidden out of Mitzrayim, and they started to complain about the trip. And Hashem was very upset. And Hashem made a fire come out and start to strike them. And Moshe Rabbeinu davened for them, and the fire stopped. And Moshe Rabbeinu called that place Tav'era, which means a blaze, like a blazing fire, because the fire of Hashem had blazed against them.
Oh my gosh. I hope that my parents don't blaze me when I ask, are we there yet? I think I'll stop that question.
Yeah, maybe that would calm down things in the car.
I don't want to eat chicken for dinner. I just want candy and gum.
Oh boy, looks like somebody is having a little temper tantrum over there.
Yeah, I want to eat sweet things. I don't like to eat this dinner.
Chaim, your mother made you a very nutritious dinner. Why do you turn down your mother? She worked so hard.
Yeah, but I want sweet things.
Chaim, what if your mother just gave you all the candy that you wanted? Would you be happy?
Oh yeah, I would be very happy.
Well, what would happen if you ate so much candy that all of your teeth became rotten and fell out? Would you be happy then?
Well, maybe not.
Yeah. You know, you remind me in the Parsha of some people that were complaining for some food that wasn't good for them to eat.
What? In the Parsha this happened?
Yes, let me tell you about it.
Oh, I want to hear.
Well, the Erev Rav, the mixed group of Egyptians, they started to complain again.
Oh no, what was it this time?
They were complaining that we miss the fish that we got to eat in Mitzrayim for free. We miss cucumbers and leeks, watermelons, garlic, and onion.
What? Why did they miss these foods? They had the man, which was much better.
Yeah, but they said, we want meat. We're bored of the man. Every day the same man.
The man wasn't good?
No, actually, the Torah tells us that the man, surprisingly, was very good. It looked like a coriander seed, and it had a color of crystal, and it was very, very delicious. It ate like anything you wanted it to taste like. If you wanted a dish that was ground or cooked or crushed or made into cakes, it tasted moist like oil. It was delicious. And the dew would land on the ground at night, then the man would come down on it.
So why did these people complain?
Well, they said, we miss the food that we got for free in Mitzrayim.
For free? They were slaves in Mitzrayim.
That's true, but they didn't have to do mitzvahs yet in Mitzrayim.
So they didn't want to do mitzvahs?
Yeah, they were saying, well, in Mitzrayim, we just got fed food. We didn't have to do any mitzvahs. And now we have some restrictions. We could only collect 1 omer per person, and we're only allowed to eat it at that day. We can't eat it overnight. Besides, the man doesn't taste like special foods that we like cucumbers and leeks and onions and garlic.
Why would they want those things?
Well, they were just complaining.
Why didn't the man taste like those things?
Well, Rashi brings down because pregnant women who eat those foods, it's not good for their baby. And also nursing women, it's not good for their baby either. So Hashem didn't want that just because Hashem didn't want that if he's going to make the man taste like those things, it won't be good for those women.
Yeah, but why did everybody else have to suffer?
Well, everybody else was making a sacrifice because of Avos Yisrael. Every single yid matters, and if something is dangerous for them, it's not good for them, then all of the yidden stayed away from it.
Oh wow, that's very interesting. So what happened next? Did they get meat?
Well, Chaim, first there was another little story with Moshe and the 70s, the Canaan. We'll tell you that in a second. But you want to know what happened with the meat. Well, I'll tell you. Hashem came to Moshe and Hashem said, Moshe, tell the people, I'm going to send them meat. There's going to be so much meat. They're going to be eating not for a day, not for a week, for a month. It'll be coming out of your noses by the time the month is over.
What? So what did Moshe Rabbeinu say?
Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hashem, if we slaughter all of the cows, even if we try to bring all the fish in the sea, there's 600,000 Yidden. It's not going to be enough.
And what did Hashem say?
Hashem said, Hayad Hashem tiktzar. Is the hand of Hashem short? Could Hashem not do it?
Of course Hashem could do it. Yes.
So Hashem did it. what did Hashem do? He caused a wind to blow in from the ocean, and thousands of quails started to come, and they were these birds called quail. They were 2 ames above the ground, so people could just grab them and shech them, and they put them on the ground to dry, and they were eating non-stop meals of quail meat.
Wow, Hashem really delivered.
Yep, but while the meat was still between their teeth, a terrible sickness, a plague broke out, and all of those who desired meat and complained against Hashem and His holy man passed away. And Moshe Rabbeinu had to name that place Kivreis HaTaiva, the graves of desire. Those who desired, who wanted meat at that time, had to be buried in graves because they did not survive.
Wow, that's scary. Okay. Mommy, I'll eat my chicken now. No more candy for me.
Hey, Chani, how was your first day as a camp counselor?
Terrible. I should never have taken this job.
Why? What's the matter?
The kids, they whine all day and they complain. I can't handle it. It's too much for me.
You sound like Moshe Rabbeinu in the Parsha.
Moshe Rabbeinu was a camp counselor?
No. Moshe Rabbeinu heard all the Yidden by the entrances of their tents, kvetching and crying, Oy vey, we don't have meat, we need meat, not this man. And Moshe Rabbeinu and Hashem were so angry. Moshe was disgusted. He said, Hashem, why are you doing this to me, to your servant? Why are you making me deal with these people? Am I like their mommy that has to carry the nursing baby? I cannot handle this. Just kill me instead of dealing with all of these complaints of all these wicked people.
Oh, wow. Moshe Rabbeinu had a really difficult time. His bunk was 600,000.
600,000 was just the men from 20 to 60. Actually, there were many more women and children and old people to kvetch as well.
Oh boy! So what did Moshe do?
Well, Hashem told Moshe that, don't worry, Moshe Rabbeinu should call 70 of the leaders of Bnei Yisrael, and Hashem will speak to Moshe by the entrance of the oil ma'od, the tent of meeting, and Hashem will magnify the spirit of prophecy that rests on Moshe and put it on these 70 leaders, that they should also be able to hear Hashem's voice, and they will also help Moshe to bring the message of Hashem to the Yidden.
Wow, how did they do that?
Well, first, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu made a special goyrel, special raffle, to see which of the Zakanim, which of the elders would get to be chosen. And because if they did 70, that means there would be 6 per Shevet, but 2 Shvatim had to have 5 per Shevet. To figure out which Shevet would only have 5, they did a raffle. If they pulled out a card that said Zakain, they were one of the Zakanim. If they pulled out a blank one, then they were not chosen. And they went to the oil ma'od, and Hashem spoke to Moshe and gave the spirit onto the Zakanim, and they started to say Nevuah. And according to Rashi, it only lasted for that day, but according to Onkelos, other Mefarshim, the Nevuah continued. But then something very interesting happened, which showed us how humble Moshe was.
What was that?
Well, Gershom, Moshe's son, came running over when they were by the oil ma'od and said, Moshe Rabbeinu, my father, there's 2 Yidden, Eldad and Medad, are saying Nevuah in the camp.
So what's the problem with that? That's wonderful. But wait, why didn't they show up?
Well, that's a very good question. According to the Medrash, the Gemara gives 2 different reasons, possible reasons. One reason is they didn't think they would be chosen. They didn't even pull out a card. And really, they were chosen, but they didn't know to show up. Second reason is even they were chosen, but they just didn't feel that they were deserving of it. So they did not go to hear Hashem's Nevuah. But Hashem's Nevuah came to them anyway.
Oh, wow, that's so interesting. So what was so bad about them saying Nevuah?
Well, according to the Medrash, they were saying in Nevuah that Moshe Rabbeinu is going to pass away and be buried, and Yehoshua is going to take the Yidden into Eretz Yisrael. And that wasn't exactly so respectful to say about Moshe at that time yet. Moshe Rabbeinu was not ready to pass away yet.
Oh, wow.
So Yehoshua, Moshe's servant, said, Adoni Moshe kilaim, my master Moshe, stop them, or maybe finish them, that they should not be allowed to do this. And Moshe Rabbeinu said, are you jealous for me? I wish all the Yidden would, all the nation of Hashem would become Nevi'im, prophets of Hashem, and Hashem would speak to them. Leave them alone.
Wow, Moshe was so humble. He did not feel jealous at all.
No, because Moshe Rabbeinu knew that all the great gifts that he had, which made him the greatest Navi that ever lived, Hashem could have given it to someone else. And Moshe Rabbeinu would always think, maybe that person will do a better job than me, so why should I be proud of myself?
Wow.
Hey girls, what are you doing? Don't you know that secrets are not such a nice thing to do? You shouldn't say secrets in public.
We didn't want anyone to know that we were talking about you.
Talking about me? Shh. Wait a minute, girls. That's Lashon Hara. We don't talk about people.
Oh, we were just talking about what to buy you for your birthday.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should judge us favorably. That's not what we were talking about. We were talking...
Shh! You puppets. I don't know. Anyway, would you like to hear about somebody in the Parsha that was talking behind someone's back?
Oh, yeah. It was in the Parsha? What happened in the Parsha?
Well, there was a lady named Miriam, Moshe Rabbeinu's sister, and she was speaking to her brother Aharon.
Oh, what happened? What were they speaking about?
They were speaking about Moshe Rabbeinu.
Lashon Hara about Moshe Rabbeinu?
Well, let me tell you, Miriam, she didn't mean anything bad. See, she noticed that Moshe Rabbeinu had married a very, very special woman, Tzipora, and the Torah calls her an exceptionally beautiful woman. And now Moshe Rabbeinu had divorced her and stopped living with her like a husband and wife.
What? Why?
Well, that's what Miriam didn't know, and she was upset because she said to Aaron, we talk to Hashem and we are able to have husbands or wives, so why could Moshe Rabbeinu not do that?
Yeah, good question.
Well, she didn't know that Hashem, of course, is always listening, and Hashem was not happy with her comments because Hashem had really told Moshe Rabbeinu that because Moshe Rabbeinu had a special job to speak to Hashem at all times, he could not be a regular family man like everybody else.
Oh, really?
And so Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron and Miriam were suddenly called by a voice of Hashem to come to the Oil Moed, and the cloud of Hashem appeared there.
Oh, wow.
And then Hashem told Aaron and Miriam to come closer so Moshe would not hear.
What? Why?
Because Hashem wanted to say something very special about Moshe, and you're not supposed to say the whole praise about a person in front of them, because they might become feel arrogant like a big shot. And Hashem told Miriam and Aaron, do you think that you are like Moshe Rabbeinu? When you, a regular Navi, gets a Nevuah, they only have a dream or a vision or a riddle. But Moshe Rabbeinu is not like that. Moshe Rabbeinu is my trusted servant, says Hashem. He's trusted in all my house, meaning with all information, with all visions of Hashem. I speak to him face to face, and he sees Hashem.
But you can't see Hashem.
Well, that's true. Hashem showed Moshe his back, it says, by Har Sinai.
But Hashem doesn't have a back.
You're right. It means that Hashem showed Moshe Rabbeinu more than any Navi was ever able to see. Moshe Rabbeinu saw, and he still did not have to fall asleep. He remained standing just like two people talking to each other, face to face. And Hashem says to Miriam and Aaron, how did you not become afraid to speak about my servant Moshe like this? And then the cloud went up, and right away Miriam saw that she became sick with the white skin of tsaras because of her lashon hara. Oh no! And Aaron said, Moshe, my brother, do not be angry about us, and we didn't mean anything. And Moshe Rabbeinu turned to Hashem and he said, Kel na rifa na la, Hashem, heal her. And Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm sorry, but if her father, even though Hashem is like a loving father to her, if her father was angry at her and spit at her in anger, would she not have to go 7 days of quarantine, 7 days of being alone? So too now, Hashem showed her the punishment of tsaras for her aveira of lashon hara. She has to wait 7 days. Ay, did she get stuck? You didn't leave without her in the desert? No, actually, the truth is that even if the Yidden would have traveled, they wouldn't have left without her. She would have come, but she would have had to wait another 7 days in the desert when they stopped, because you have to wait 7 days outside the camp. Oh, why didn't the Yidden travel? Because the Yidden did not want Miriam to be left with tsaras for any longer than necessary, because Miriam was the one who, when Moshe Rabbeinu was a little baby in the basket on the Nile River, when the soldiers were looking for him, she hid in the bushes and she watched over him to make sure that he very quickly was given back to a Jewish nurse, which it turned out to be. She was able to set it up with Pari's daughter, that Moshe's own mother nursed Moshe, and she did not let Moshe cry for an extra second. So too, Hashem made sure that the Yidden did not let Miriam be sad with tsaras for an extra second, and they waited for her until she finished her 7 days, and then the camp continued. Oh wow, that's so special. Rabbi Wegshel, I have a question. Yes, Chaim, what's the question? How come in the Rambam, I was learning in class that the Rambam speaks about how great Moshe was, like we see in our Parsha, and talks about a Navi and a prophet in his halachos. Why does the Rambam speak about this if nobody was as great as Moshe ever again? Why do we need to know that? Great question. And if it's going to be for Techias HaMesim, when Moshe Rabbeinu comes back, we'll see Moshe then, and we could see how great he is. Very, very good point, Chaim. Actually, I heard a very interesting explanation that the Rambam himself says in Igeres Teiman, Perek Gimel, a letter that he wrote to Yidden in Teiman, that before Mashiach comes, Nevuah, prophecy, will come back to the Yidden. And therefore, it's possible that the Rambam wrote down these halachos so we should know the halachos, the laws of a prophet. So before Mashiach comes already, we should be ready to recognize when a prophet comes and speaks to us. Oh wow, thank you, that's amazing. So Chaim, it's almost Shabbos. What vart are you going to say by the Shabbos table this week from all that we learned in the Parsha? I liked what you told Chani about that you should daven every day with the same enthusiasm, just like Aaron HaKohen, when he lit the menorah, he never got bored of lighting the menorah. Every day he looked at it as a special job. So too, when we daven to Hashem, we should look at it not like the same thing every day, but as a special chance to talk to Hashem, the King of the world. That's beautiful, Chaim. Good Shabbos, everyone.
It's time to say good Shabbos, 'cause all your work is done. Gonna spend a day together with the Holy One. Say a special blessing on a cup that's filled with